The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Welcome to For the Love of Words, ECAT's program. And today we're featuring the most wonderful poet, Johnnierenee Nelson from San Diego. And we are doing this by Zoom. And Johnnierenee and I have known each other for, I think it's 54 years. We've been best friends for 54 years. And we met in 1969 in Michigan, and where she was pursuing her master's in sociology, and I was teaching English. Tell me something, Johnnierenee. How is it true we've been friends for 54 years?
Yes.
Okay. And the backdrop of that was in the midst of the Vietnam War. It was raging. Civil rights was on front pages, and the beginnings of women's rights. And so we met during turbulent times, and we had more or less a meeting of the minds. We probably agree on just about everything, and that helped the friendship, didn't it?
Yes, we've had our differences.
As all
Oh,
friends, all good friends do. Thank you
yes.
so much for joining me today and being the featured poet.
But thank you so much for having me today. This is an honor. I'm so happy to be here with you and doing this with you.
Thank you, sweetie. And me too. And hopefully the next time we'll be meeting in person. Now, we're going to have you back in December because you are the most prolific Kwanzaa poet in the world. I believe you have now 5 volumes of Kwanzaa poetry.
I do 5 volumes. I'm working on a 6th volume because it's been a minute since the last volume, which was classic Kwanzaa poems, new and selected. Yes.
Okay. And as a Kwanzaa poet, you are invited to speak and to share your poetry on many occasions and festivals. So give me a little bit of your background, your bio. I know you grew up in the west side of Chicago, and I met your mother and father and your
And my
siblings, Ira
sisters.
and
Yeah.
Dora.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
My
then you
cousins.
went to Michigan on your master's. But tell me about your poetic journey. What's the bio of that?
You're gonna laugh. So I don't remember whether I was in the crib or the cradle when I got my first poetic thought, but it was very early on. And I was published the first time, I believe, when I was a second grader in what we call the school pennygram. And then I just kind of wrote on my own. It didn't have a lot of publications, but I was always writing because I was always having these thoughts and I loved words and I would do a lot of wordplay. And I don't remember having anything published in high school. I did more drama in high school than creative writing. And then I went to college and I did some writing there for different assemblies or programs or whatever. But it was when I was at Michigan State that I received my first award. And that was, I still have a little booklet here. It's tattered and you probably can't see it. But it's called Preview. And I won the award for, let me get the right title here. It was the Paramount News Center Award for Best Collection of Poetry. And what happened there was I didn't know I was supposed to just submit one poem. I didn't see that in the guidelines. So I submitted like 5 or 6 poems, and they loved them so much that they decided to just publish the 5 or 6 poems, and they published all the poems. So I didn't receive the first place uh, Blue Ribbon Award or second place or third place, just this special category that was developed just for me and my poetry. So I was kind of excited about that. I should mention that I noticed later in this booklet that Carolyn Forche was the first place winner. And I'm sure if your audience is familiar with the literary world, they actually recognize that name because she's gone on to become a world-renowned poet. Um, so that was my journey. And then I was majoring in sociology at the time, so this was a digression for me. But I just kept writing, and then I decided, I really like this writing thing, and there's just so much happening in the world, and I want to merge the two, the sociology and the creative writing, and write about those events. So that's my journey. But I did bring up my bio, and I can share that, and it's not that long. So, award-winning poet and playwright Johnnierenee Nia Nelson, aka the Kwanzaa Poet, has written 5 books of Kwanzaa poetry. Her first volume, A Quest for Kwanzaa, published in 1988, was heralded as the authoritative genesis of Kwanzaa literature. Classic Kwanzaa poems, new and selected, is her latest work. A poet teacher for both the California Poets in the Schools and San Diego's Border Voices Project, as well as a performance poet, Johnnierenee has presented readings and workshops from Cairo, Egypt to Vancouver, British Columbia. Ms. Nelson was featured at the 5th annual El Cajon Friendship Festival with her creation, A Taste of Kwanzaa, and on 2 KPBS shows, These Days and The Lounge. The Lounge. She also performed at San Diego City College in collaboration with Urban Bush Women. Her video credits include the Emmy Award-winning documentary Lighting the Way and KBS's acclaimed Border Voices TV show. Ms. Nelson serves as the Poet Laureate of the World Beat Center in beautiful Balboa Park and is the San Diego County Area Coordinator for California Poets in the Schools. In 2017, Ms. Nelson received a fellowship from the Living Kindness Foundation to attend the International Women's Writers Guild, IWWG, 40th Annual Summer Conference in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Let's hear some of your poems. I asked you today to read some of your non-Kwanzaa poetry, and many of them are born out of tragic incidents in our history. And maybe if you'd like to preface each poem with some information.
Yeah, I've got several here. So this first poem I'm going to share was published in the 1970 anthology preview at Michigan State University. And it's entitled, Haven't Forgotten My Gloves. I realized that the brown hands didn't match the red bag, the green hat, the purple heels, the orange dress, nor the blue socks that clothed my person. Upon entering the Schubert, I pulled off my hands and placed them neatly in my bag. So that was one of the 5 poems that was published. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 poems that was published at that time. And what is it that I want to say about that poem? I'm not sure where it came from, but I was in a new environment. And I think I loved Michigan State. Absolutely loved being at Michigan State. It was so different from inner city Chicago. And so just everything around me was inspirational. But I had problems identifying sometimes with other students there because there were just so very few of us minority student, Black students, students of color. And I'm not sure if it's, me trying to fit in, but it's like I wear all these colors and everything here is just so bland and but it's beautiful. So that's where that poem was about. That's where that poem is going. Oh, am I supposed to just read all the poems at one time?
Yes.
Okay. So from there, we go to, here's one that reflects on my childhood, and it's called Happy Days Revisited. Home was church on Sundays, choir rehearsal on Tuesdays, the hit parade on Saturday nights, and the Mickey Mouse Club every day after school. Circus Day, Rodeo Day, and Talent Day Friday, the day when special kids were crowned with mouse ears. That soft, black, hand-sewn felt beanie with large, round black ears, wired so they wouldn't flop. Friday, the day reserved for special kids to become honorary Mouseketeers, sometimes even kids who looked like us. For my two sisters and me, dark matter sprawled across the living room floor in front of a black and overwhelmingly white TV. That was the American dream. So again, that poem was a reflection of growing up in Chicago with the television. Okay, this next poem is 2020 Found Poetry on Facebook. That's the title, 2020 Found Poetry on Facebook. And it's prefaced with these words by Angela Davis. Until the color of your skin is the target, you will never understand. 1, they kill our dads, then make fun of us for not having one. 2, they have made thousands of arrests when they only had to make 4. 3, Brianna, I'm so sorry that your neighbor's wall received justice before you did. 4, cops don't need more training. They know how not to shoot white people. They can use that same training to not shoot Black people. And let's see, am I missing something here? Okay, my next poem is How to Get Away with Murder. So this poem was actually written in 2015, but because of social dynamics, kept adding to it and adding to it. I think I just finally stopped in 2021, maybe. It's like, enough already, enough already. And this poem is prefaced by a quote from Amanda Gorman, who's the darling of the poetry world these days, who came through CPIT's program, our program here in California, as a teenager, and was published in one of our anthologies. And Amanda's quote is, "Our poem penned is not our poem's end." How to Get Away with Murder, a never-ending poem, and this is the 2020 version. Live in the USA. Wear a badge. Wear a uniform or wear plain clothes. Wear white skin. Make sure your targets are young, Black, or brown males, or make sure your targets are middle-aged or old Black or brown males. On second thought, any Black or brown person, male or female, will do. Choke, strangle, and suffocate your victims Press a knee to their necks for nearly 9 minutes. Break their spines. Shoot your targets repeatedly from a distance. Shoot your targets repeatedly from up close. Shoot them in the chest. Shoot them in the head. Shoot them in the back 7 times in front of their children. Shoot them in the heart. Shoot them 16 times in 15 seconds. And remember always the damning words of former Chicago Mayor Richard J. Daley: shoot to kill. Shoot them in the park. Shoot them in the store. Shoot them in the mall. Shoot them in the street. Shoot them in their cars. Shoot them in their apartments. Shoot them in their grandparents' backyard. Shoot them in their houses while they're asleep. Shoot them while they're jogging down a country road in Georgia. Then create your own narrative of why your thug actions were warranted. Present your fabrication to a state-level grand jury. When that jury grants the wishes of the prosecuting attorney, flash a smug smile. Such non-indictments will stun, mystify, confuse, and perplex certain segments of the American public. People of color already know that this is the American way. P.S. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. So that was my How to Get Away with Murder poem. And again, it was first written much earlier than the George Floyd incident. This was started in 2015. So this has been going on for quite a while now. But I wanted to end my poetry reading with the optimism that's in my heart and in my soul for this country. And this poem is called A New Color, A New Day. Chandelier, the color of waterfalls and rivers, of stars and crystals twinkling and twirling throughout the universe. Chandelier, the color of tiaras that sparkle at twilight, and tears, spears suspended in space that flash like the bulbs of an old Kodak camera. Chandelier, the color of bubbly champagne, of dreams and hopes and unparalleled optimism, the color of our collective future.
Those were so moving and so dramatic and so reflective of your sensitivity and the world of reality. So you once called them your rants, but I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think they're rants. I think they're just openings to reality, how things are in this country. But I love your optimism. You've always been a positive person. And me too. I think that's one of the things we have in common.
Yeah. I think we're activists, and that's what makes us optimistic because, we just say, be the change you want to see. So we have to, be those actors. We have to be the activists. We have to be the voices of those whose voices might not get heard. We have to be the eyes of those who may not see certain things that we see. So, yeah, I always say we live in parallel worlds. We both live in America, but, your world is so different than my world, and your concerns are so different than my concerns, and your views sometimes. That's why I say we don't always agree, and that's a good thing. We're not the same people, so we shouldn't always agree. We have different perspectives, so I love that part of our friendship as well.
Mm-hmm. Me too. But I think we agree more times than we disagree.
Oh, certainly, which is why we're still friends, right?
Yeah, we share the same love of country, and but also the need to change. We want to be the change,
Thank you,
and
want me to change.
you
Yeah.
know, you're in your 70s. I'm in my 80s already, and I think back all the years that I've been an activist since I was in my 20s.
Exactly, exactly.
And one of the things that impressed me, and I would like you to share with the audience today, is that your mother took you to Emmett Till's.
Oh, you want me to share that story? Yes,
Yeah,
she did.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it had a very big influence on the woman that you became. So could you relate that story for us?
Yeah. So that was in 1955, I believe. So I was 6, 7 years old at the time. And my mother took me and my two sisters. We were stair steps. So Clara was, if I was 6, Clara was 7, and Dora was 8. And we went to the wake. It was open to the public. I remember we stood in line for a long, long time before we were actually able to go into the church. And it was an open casket event. I call it an event because it was a media event. And I remember my mother lifting me up so that I could see him. And I was surprised. I was startled because it was all shiny and glassy. They had glass over his face or over his body. He was encased. And he was so mutilated. I mean, the art and the photos that you see, they were genuine because he had been tortured so violently, a 14-year-old boy, and I remember his mother saying she was so proud of his teeth. He had these perfect teeth and hadn't had any cavities. And when she got the body back, most of his teeth had been knocked out. It was remarkable. So I do have that memory. So when Rosa Parks was here in San Diego, and she did a book signing at the Pyramid Bookstore, and that was back in 1992. I took my children. I have 3 children, and I took them to touch history, which is what I think my mother did for us, to say, this is what's happening in the world outside of your world, in the larger world, or in this country. And I'm going, and this woman is the mother of the civil rights movement, who whose catalyst was Emmett Till's treatment, Emmett Till's death, because he died, he was murdered that August, and her event was that October. So 2 months later is when she refused to give up her seat for a white man. And that spearheaded the Montgomery bus boycott. So I wanted my kids to have a memory as vivid as the one that I had. And I did write a play about it. It's interesting because sometimes we don't realize all the stories that we have inside of us that just kind of need to be shared with the world. So that's why I said poet and playwright now.
Wow. Well, you have quite a history and so many memories, good, bad, and indifferent. So thank you so much, Johnnierenee Nelson, for sharing with the world what you share with me when we meet. And I appreciate your coming on board today for the love of words. So any parting words that you might have?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reciting my Kwanzaa poetry. It's all positive and uplifting, and I can hardly wait for December to come because that's my specialty, I guess, AKA Kwanzaa poet. So yeah. And for me, it's a reprieve from writing about all the social problems and the social injustice. I get to write about my heritage and my culture and my people, and from a positive perspective. So I just love that.
And all the people who are in your audiences at all these major events in San Diego and really have appreciated it too.
Yeah, down at the World Beat Cultural Center. You've come. You've been there. Yeah. It's such a joy to be affiliated with that cultural center.
Well,
And with California Poets in Schools too, because I love children. So I get a chance to teach creative writing in the classroom. And I tell you, children's imaginations are so vivid and so alive. It's refreshing.
and I love to read the books that come out of that journey that you have with those young people. And if you remember, I accompanied you on one of those creative writing.
That's right, you did. The one with Claudia's class at
Yep.
George Washington Carver Elementary. Yeah, that's
Aren't you
right.
good? You have a great memory. Well, I was a creative writing teacher in one of my prior lives, so I really
Yeah, back in Michigan, right?
Yep,
Wasn't it in Michigan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And an art teacher as well.
that's right. Anyway, Johnnierenee Nelson, one of San Diego's treasures and a treasure of the world. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you again, Priscilla. Like I said, this is a privilege and an honor. And I just love you so much. So I was so happy to be able to do this.
Good evening and welcome to the second half of For the Love of Words. This is your co-host John Holgerson along with Priscilla Almquist Olsen, and our singer-songwriter guest this evening is Kaiya Hope. Kaiya Hope is a singer-songwriter out of the New Bedford area who blends classic folk, bluegrass, and alternative styles. Relatively new to the music scene, she frequently plays at spots like Poor Farm Tavern, the Galactic Theater, and open mics everywhere. So you should be able to find her at an open mic for sure. She's currently working on her latest and newest album, which she hopes to be released on June the 15th. And we look forward to having her play some of those songs this evening. You can find the music once it's out, once the album's released on June 15th. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and it's my pleasure to welcome Kaiya Hope.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So I'm going to start with a little bit of a curveball for you. When you came in this evening, you had a Martin guitar case,
Yep.
but then you told me there's not a Martin guitar in the case.
I know. Well, here's the thing. A hard case goes a long way in the music industry. If you have a soft case, no one's going to take you seriously. And the way I'm banging that thing around, I had to have a hard case. And my main guitar, my Martin guitar, my prized joy, was given to me as a graduation gift when I graduated high school. And it's an all acoustic, and I played it for a little bit. I brought it to about 2 gigs, and on the second gig, it took a tumble, and my stepmother almost had a panic attack. And I said, you know what? I'll leave that one at home and I will purchase myself a nice beater guitar. So I got myself a Luna guitar. It was like my first ever big purchase, and it sounds just as good hooked up. It looks just as good, but it's not a Martin. And so I don't feel as bad when I throw it around a little bit, which I inevitably will.
Is it just an acoustic guitar?
Nope, this is an acoustic electric. That was the other thing, is it was like a pain in the butt trying to get my acoustic. I had to like stick something in it, and my first gig around, people weren't trying to.
Before you got the Martin, were you playing another type of guitar?
So before the Martin, I was playing ukulele, actually. That was my first instrument. And then I would play my dad's guitar every once in a while, and piano. And then I like slowly dripped into the guitar a little bit. And then once I had figured it out an inch, everything else was out. It was my main instrument.
Now, you, as I said in the intro, you write songs.
Yep.
What led you to go from covers to writing your own material?
Actually, I was probably writing my own material before I was doing covers. I always felt more comfortable doing my own thing like my voice is very particular, and it can go very high and very low, but it has a very hard time right in the middle. So most cover songs just didn't work for me very well. And when I first got my ukulele, I just learned 3 chords, and I probably wrote 15 songs just off those chords, none of them very good, but still, like, I found the power in, even if it was probably somehow written off of another song and I didn't really realize it yet, I just like to have my own sound.
So who are some of the singer-songwriter influences for you?
Well, my family on both sides are very musical. My dad can pick up any instrument. He's mainly a fiddler, which is so impressive to me. I think that that's insane. But he also collects musical instruments. So we have an organ, a piano, 5 guitars, a drum set, an oboe, everything in between. Half of them, I don't even know what they are. My mom is classically trained pianist. I wish I had inherited that. Someday I will get there. My aunt is a music teacher. I have a cousin who's a professional cello player. So it's everywhere around me is surrounded. I never force myself to play. It's like, if anything, it's like a therapeutic thing for me. Like I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself. So I'm gonna play music, and then magic happens.
So what is it that triggers you writing a song? What kind of an event or an emotion?
I mean, of course, any strong, I feel like more times than not, music comes from sad feelings, because when you're happy, you can just go out and be happy. But when you're sad, you kind of keep to yourself. And I think I learned the importance of being sad through music, because everyone makes being sad this bad thing, but really that's how you know you're real and you feel alive. And it's like, oh my goodness, like from that deep sadness, you are all of a sudden you can plummet into this like extreme happiness. And if you're happy all the time, it's like, I don't think that you're really experiencing life fully. And so deep sadness has definitely triggered songs for me. And also just if I find a cool chord progression and I'm like, I've got this chord progression, I just need to find the words to fit it. And then oftentimes I will look around whatever room I'm in and I will find something to write a song off of. And I will take different connective points and things that might spur off into a metaphor, or maybe they just are exactly what they are. And I'll write a song about them and try and turn it into a story. And, you know, bada bing, bada boom.
Now, this new album, Hope Street, that you hope to release on June 15th.
Yeah.
What would you say the theme, is there a universal theme running through the songs?
Yeah, there definitely is. Hope Street is, and it sounds sad. It's really not. It's a very, like, it's the most wonderful thing I've ever done. But Hope Street is about wanting something that you cannot have so badly that you, like, concave into yourself, basically, and you feel like almost pathetic, like you are out of character and you're doing all these things that you have no ability to stop. And then from that, you reshape yourself, you know, you're empty and you turn into this new, more insane, beautiful thing. And then all of a sudden you breathe in again and you've got all these things that you created out of that, like, pit that you thought that was the end of your life. And then it's like, oh no, you just keep chugging along. And all of a sudden I've got 100 new songs. I can't stop writing this music. I'm so sad. I need to keep writing.
So the songs that you'll be performing tonight, are they all going to be on the Hope Street album?
Yeah, I think 4 of them will be, and depending on how much time we have, one of them just, I've been feeling really good recently, and I wrote a very happy song, and I probably won't put it on the album because it just doesn't kind of correlate as much, but most of the songs I play tonight will be, yeah.
Well, we look very forward to hearing these songs this evening, and thank you so much for coming by and sharing your music with us.
Yeah, and I have a question.
I have an answer.
Great. Do you ever write a poem and then try to set music to it? Or
Absolutely.
is it, yeah, and do you ever write music and then try to set words to it?
Yeah, so I'll find chords and set words to it, but usually by the time I've got my bass chords, I will have started, my mind is already coming, but I'll come up with 4 different sets of lyrics for the same song and pick and choose from it. And as long as it rhymes, I'll work with it. And then what's funny is a lot of my friends growing up wrote poetry, but no one wrote music, and they would hand off their poems to me and be like, hey, just make a song out of that. And it's hard to do when it's someone else's words. You do your best, but I will write down phrases. I usually won't write down like a full song because I just can't picture it until I've got the music. And you kind of want to I kind of want to set the music to the words and make them either correlate or be completely opposite and kind of trip you up a little bit and make you like, oh, what weird words for that happy song. But I think that that's the fun of it.
Yes, it certainly is, because normally the music will coordinate itself with the words, But yeah, that's an interesting point you made.
Yeah, I actually go out of my way to not do that sometimes because I want people to be able to read a song a bunch of different ways. And of course, some people will connect with it and understand exactly what you're saying. And then some people will find their own meaning to it. And that's even better. I hope that you can see my lyrics are not always black and white. They're usually could lead you 100 different ways. And I hope that people are finding whatever they need out of it.
Great. Well, you really enjoy your journey. And we thank you, John and I both, for your being here tonight. So let's hear it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Hello, my name is Kaiya Hope. I'm going to play you a couple songs from my upcoming album, Hope Street. This first song is called Salida, and it's based off my favorite town, which is Salida, Colorado. And every line in this song I wrote based off something that was on my wall in my room. So. I wrote it on a gas check. My friends stole those from me. Salida, Colorado is where I ought to be. You are my watercolor, my old man to be. I wrote it on a postcard of where you are. To be. Wishing away and hurting my feelings, and still I do not have you. I think about you still. Breaking your heart into 5 different pieces will always make you cooler. Everybody wants me now. Shapeshifter. In one ear and out the other. Shapeshifter. Why'd I ever even bother? I'm just skin and bones now. You won't take those from me. You wrote it on a postcard of where I ought to be. Oh, I took down all your paintings. I made a wall for me. I took down all your letters of where you are to be. Wishing and waiting and holding my feelings, and still I about you still. Thinking, creating, hurting my fingers, and still I do not have you. Everybody wants me now. Shape shifter. Thank you. This next one, I capo around a lot, so you're gonna see me bounce up and down on the capo. This next one is called Pitiful. And it's kind of mean, but I don't mean it. Well, you are pitiful. I like that. I think I found it when you saw me naked for the first time. I'll play that moment for the rest of my life. So sorrowful, I'll be your savior. Want you to worship everything I do. Incredible, hallelujah. Hide your Bible, you paint my hue, and I think I give up. Oh no, every time you're anxious, when I get you high, I think I like it, but I don't know why. Oh no, I think I broke character. Turn the lights on, opened up the doors and let you through. A clumsy thing to do when we are tangible. I like that, 'cause you can't figure me out. Unplannable. Well, I plan that. Drop you knee deep in the ocean, watch you scream and shout, and I think I like it, but I don't know why. Every time you're anxious, when I get you high, everything you wanted, everything you owed, jump out that window, and that window spoke. I think I like you, but I don't know why. Oh no, I think I broke character. Turn the lights on, opened up the doors and let you through. Clumsy thing to do. Oh, wrote a note and spoke my heart early. Turn the lights on, opened up the doors and let you through. Clumsy thing to do when you. Next up, I've got Heat of July, which I've modified so many times I can't even count, but this is going to be the one that is on the album. Baby, I'm sorry I worked up, shut down and confused you. My starry eyes bigger than my crowded mind, and it consumed you. Well, it's not like I had ever felt that hope. It's not like I had ever lost control of you. I built a home, fought in confidence and crowds, and it consumed you. I should say sorry, 'cause you said I must. You like it dirty, so I collect dust. And I am so angry, and I'm angry at you. You like the broken, but I'm nothing new. And I am so hungry, but it's past 8 p.m., so I won't eat nothing, and that is my sin. That is my sin. And I don't feel scared. You take your time. I'll find my words when you find your mind. Hold on for me, and hold on for life. Learn all you can in the heat of July. I'll bring the letters if you bring the wine. I want the lessons, and you want the time. Something is rattling, and something ain't right. Learn all you can in the heat of July. When August comes, I'll be alright. Thank you. Gold was the first song that I wrote for this album, and knew that it was going to go on this album, so it's a really important one to me. I wanna see you dripping in something gold, ornamental, center stage, heavy and controlled, like molasses ice cold, with a place to be. Are you who a hunter in the land of soot and soil. Is it hard to barter when you're made to kill like a lion in a time of desperate need? Are you who I want you to want to be? Deep in the forest is a man I thought I knew. Dark green with compassion is my baby blue. In the yard, overgrown and underseen. Are you who I want you to want to be? I knew a story of a man with eyes like yours. Dark green with compassion and 100 years of momentum makes a fool of a man so clean. Are you who I want? Are you who I want? Are you who I want you to want to? I wanna see you dripping in something gold, ornamental, center stage, heavy and controlled, like molasses ice cold with a place to be. Are you who I want you to be? I wanna see you dripping in something gold, ornamental, center stage, heavy and controlled, like molasses ice cold with a place to be. Are you who I want? Are you who I want? Are you who I want you to want to? This next song is called Big Ben, and I wrote it in a house that wasn't my own, so it doesn't quite sound like a song I would usually write, but I really like it. Big Ben called my phone last night. He wanted to get me high. Well, I got so damn stoned last night, I thought I was gonna die, but there was you with your purple hair and your angel face and your angel stare. I went for a walk last night. I wanted to be alone. I don't wanna talk last night. No calls on my telephone, not even you. With your purple hair, disappointed. Do you even care? Tom says something questionable and then he laughed it off. I forgot it hours ago, but I was still put off, and so were you. With your purple hair, disappointment, like you really care. Oh, 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 I don't like my coffee black, and I don't drink IPAs for fun. But something about a whiskey glass makes me feel like I'm on the run away from you. With your purple hair, Big Ben called my phone last night. I went for a walk last night. Thank you. This is my favorite song probably that I've ever wrote, and it's called Mr. California. And I used to play it first at every gig, but now I play it last at every gig because it's the best. My name is California. Nice to meet you. I think I've seen your picture up on the wall. No, I don't think you're scary, Mrs. Lady. No hunch, you met one villain. You met 'em all. No, I ain't trying to meet you, ain't trying to greet you, ain't trying to stare deep inside your crystal ball. Just wanna know your colors, they're like no others. I'll never feel more than that sound. My name is Mother Nature. It gets weirder. I knew she deserved something I couldn't give, but she's late to the party. It never started. I wanted to feel sorry, but never did. I wanted to feel better. Sing molten leather, more little sun stains than she could ever count. But she sang to the weather, lesser and lesser. I'll never feel more than that sound. My name is California. Nice to meet you. I think I've seen your picture up on the wall. I'd like to hear your story. Well, is it going about that little lady I never knew? I never knew, oh, I never knew, I never knew you. Well, I'd wait all night for you to come home, wash the dishes and the floor, and get off your phone. Well, I would die for you, but I'd kill for me. Well, I would die for you, but for him I'd bleed. And it boggles my mind that you can't find God between the fish that bites the bait and the man that holds the rod. And still it boggles my mind, but it must be true, because without God, Lord, there is no you. My name is California. Nice to meet you. I think I've seen your picture up on the wall. I'd like to hear your story. Well, is it gory about that little lady I never knew? I never knew. Oh, I never knew. Oh, I never knew. Oh, I never knew. I never knew. Oh, I never knew. I never knew you. Thank you so much. Thank you for